Hey there, this is MahendraGuru.com, the Brahmas for Success, and we present to you a new series called As the Expected Questions. Theory is a factor, but the questions are the thing that matter. So we present to you a new series called As the Expected Questions, or EQ. So let's see what is the subject here. Subject is economics and the topic is micro and macroeconomics. Interesting. And the subject is general studies. So without further ado, let's see what we have in store in the expected questions. Alert! Before the questions, you have to subscribe our video, because by subscribing our video, you can see these awesome videos on your mail and you can keep a track about all the videos that we have on our Mahendra Guru YouTube channel on, of course, youtube.com. So now, let's see finally what is the first question. Which of the following statements is correct? And this question has come in SSC 10+2 2014. Options are: option 1, most workers will work less for less than their reservation wage. Option B, the reservation wage is the maximum amount any firm will pay for worker. Now in the first two parts, the common point is the reservation wage, this particular part. Now reservation wage is the minimum wage that an employer or that an owner would give for a particular product, for example for a land, for transportation. So that is reservation wage. So in the first two sentences, most workers will work less for less than their reservation wage. That is incorrect, because every worker has to work for a minimum wage, and if they have to work for less than their minimum wage, perhaps they would not work. So the option A is incorrect. Option B, the reservation wage is the maximum amount any firm will pay for a worker. Well, if reservation wage is the minimum wage, then that cannot be the maximum wage. So I'll again reiterate. Let me just use a section for this. Now, if the reservation wage, that is RW, is the minimum wage, it is not the maximum wage. So my point is that in the second topic, in the second statement, the reservation wage is the maximum amount. If this is the minimum point, then how it can be the maximum point? So option A and B is incorrect. Let's see the option D before the option C. Economic rent is the amount one must pay to enter a desirable labor market. Well, that is incorrect, because economic rent is the difference between what the exact value of that property is, or that land is, or that particular product is, and the current value. So the difference between those two particular things is called as economic rent. So it cannot be the amount that one must pay, because the actual amount and the market amount is different. So the only option left is option C, that is economic rent, or economic rent is the difference between the market wage and the reservation wage. So the minimum wage of any product and the actual wage is the correct answer. So this particular question, only statement C, that is economic rent is the difference between the market wage and the reservation wage, is correct. Let's see the other question. Let's just see the other question. Yes, the other question is which market forms allow free entry and exit of firms? Now for this particular question, and I hope that you should write this down, you should study markets. Now in the market section, we have different sort of markets. They could be perfect market, there could be an imperfect market, or there could be different parts of imperfect market. For example, monopoly, that is a very used term. There is oligopoly, duopoly. So you have to go through the markets chapter. So not only this question has come in the examination, but there could be several other questions that could come in the market. So first of all, let's see the question. Which market forms out of the following allows free entry and exit of firms? For example, that firm can enter into the market and at any point of time it could exit the market. Let's see the first option, perfect and monopolistic market. Now these two terms are opposite. Now in a perfect market, there is no trace of monopoly, and in the monopolistic market, there are maximum trades of a monopoly. That is, there could be a single seller that could be selling a particular product. But in a perfect market, there are various sellers that sell and buy in a particular market. So this is wrong, because the exit and entry is okay here. For example, it's okay here, but it isn't okay here because that particular seller is the only seller. But here we have several sellers. So in the option A, perfect is correct for this particular question, but this is incorrect because there is only a single seller. Option C, oligopoly and monopoly. Now, if there is a market in which there are few sellers, now those sellers should be more than two, but they are very few in number and they provide products in a market. For example, if we discuss the example of oligopoly, then the cola companies, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, now these are few in number. There are only 2 to 3 participants, 2 to 3 majority leaders in a market. So that particular comes under the oligopoly, and that there is not a free entry and exit of firms. Then we have monopoly. Again, a single seller providing products to the market. Now, monopoly and monopolistic. The thin line difference is that in a monopoly, there is a single seller for a particular quantity. Now, in the monopolistic market, there are single sellers, but they have differentiated products. For example, if we discuss two inventions, an invention of the IC, in which we have the Intel and Tesla. Now these two people are leaders, but Intel has a different sort of a mastery in its IC, and the Tesla has a different sort of a mastery. So that is monopolistic. So if any particular market has monopoly features, that particular market will be monopolistic. And if it's a monopoly market in which there is a single seller for a particular product, that is a monopoly. But neither in the monopoly, not in the monopolistic or the oligopoly, we can say, not in the monopolistic, we can say that we have a market in which there is a free exit and entry of firms. The only option left is perfect and oligopoly. In the perfect market, there are several sellers, there are several buyers, so there is free exit and entry. In the oligopoly, there are more than two. So in contrast to the other, perfect, monopoly and monopolistic, this particular oligopoly has lesser amount of restrictions on the free entry and exit of firms. So the answer here would be perfect and oligopoly, and this has come in SSC Stenographer 2014. I'll again repeat, the markets chapter holds the key for such questions, and that chapter comes in huge numbers in the SSC or the related examinations. Let's see the other question. The word oikonoma, I'll again reiterate, the word oikonoma means, the question has come in SSC CGL 2014. It means household management, individual management, political management, or fiscal management. Now, oikonoma is a church word, and that particular church has two sort of mentalities. It has a oikonoma and ikereva. I'll again just write that particular thing down. It is ikereva, and the other one is oikonoma. Now the stylus is not accepting my fluency in sort of writing, but that's another thing. So ikereva and oikonoma. Now these particular deal with the house of law, or what should be the management in the house. This is a far flexible manner in which the rules are rather easy, flexible, but in the ikereva, the rules are strict and stringent. So here, the oikonoma means the house of law. Now, in the option we can see here that there is no usage of house of law, but there is a usage of household management. Now, if you have a law, you have to execute that law for managing that particular law. So if that is a house of law, yes, that would be also said as household management. And this question is not that important, but has come several times in the previous years. So you have to go through the oikonoma concept and the ikereva concept for this particular question, because if in 2014 they've asked oikonoma, they can always ask the ikereva concept for this particular question. Let's see the other question. Private investment is otherwise called as. Now, private, that means a commercial investment in which there is negligible usage or negligible interference of the government. Now, for example, if I am a person, I am not a government entity, I am a private person. If I want to invest in a particular thing, that would be called as a private investment. But if I want to invest I should have the moolah, I should have the funds, I should have the money to invest in that particular market. Now for that particular context, it should be more of a feeling of inducement. It should be more of a feeling of me trying to invest. So it cannot be autonomous because it's not automatic. If you have money, only then you would invest. It generally could not be FII because I'm an Indian and I could also invest as a private investor. So these two are incorrect. FDI, again, I'm an Indian. It doesn't matter that you are an Indian or you're a foreigner. So this also is incorrect. So though I know the answer, but if you are confused in cracking the options, the simple trick is go for the elimination technique, in which go through these options which are according to you incorrect per se. And for example, here autonomous investment, that is not automatic, so that's incorrect. For institutional, well, private could be domestic or foreign, against and the exact reason for C as well. So the only option left is the induced investment, which is done by ourselves. That is not automatic, that is not a foreign investment, but that is done by ourselves. So the option left is option D, that is induced investment. Let's see the other question. Yes, and then we come to the last question, and this is a part of the macro and the micro. I understand that sometimes such questions come in abundance in the banking examinations, but they are asked several times in the SSC as well. Now, one of our experts was discussing that around 3 to 5 questions were concerning the banking per se in the SSC in the previous 2 years. So we've kept a question in the micro and macroeconomic section that is concerning the banking system. The question is, increase in the CRR leads to. Now, what is a CRR? Cash reserve ratio. The amount of NDTL that a scheduled commercial bank maintains in cash with the RBI is called as CRR. Now, that amount of cash maintained by the RBI, maintained by the bank, is with the RBI. Now, if that amount increases, understand, if that particular amount increases, the bank would be unable to give more loans to the customers. I'll again reiterate. If the amount that is maintained with the RBI, if that amount is increased, then lesser amount of money would be with the bank, and so they cannot invest further. And if they cannot invest further or provide loans further, the bank credit would decrease. And if this particular CRR had an increase, then if the CRR had a decrease, then the amount with the RBI would be lesser of the bank, and the amount with the bank itself would be higher, then it would increase. But here they have categorically stated that if there is an increase in the CRR, what is the immediate action? The immediate action is that the bank has a lesser amount of credit, so there is a decrease in the credit. Neither it's an increase nor there is a constant supply, but there is a decrease in the bank credit. That is the answer for this particular question. With this, we come to an end to our discussion of the first video of expected questions in the general studies section, especially for the SSC and the coming examinations concerning this particular subject. We hope that you subscribe our YouTube channel for such new videos, so that you can clear and also excel in different sort of examination that you are pursuing. With this intention, remember one simple thing: in your success lies our success. Thank you so much, and do like the video. Thank you.